Hi guys, this is Teri. I wanted to update you, I wanted to thank you, and I wanted to answer some questions. And at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you what we have planned and what amazing thing happened this weekend that really gave me hope. That's coming at the end. So let's talk about what's happened since losing Joshua. Oh my gosh, what an emotional weekend this has been. I've kind of pretty much pulled it together for now since the last video. If any of you are new here and don't know what happened, I will link the last video. We found out we lost our 28-year-old son. During that video, I really felt impressed for the moms and the families out there that have been following Joshua's story for so many years, to show them the real emotion when you find something out like that. So many things were going through my head. You know, on the way up the stairs to talk to the police officers, there's so many thoughts. I mean, and then just those few seconds, you know, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, has my son hurt someone? To things that may seem totally inappropriate, like, now I'm not tied to Oregon. You know, I'm in Oregon and I would never leave Oregon if I had to leave Joshua here. It's just weird the way your mind works and things that happen. And I needed to thank so many of you, the people that knew Joshua for the last 10 years on the streets of Portland, the people that he got off of the streets, the people he knew from high school. You all touched me in such an amazing way, and you did something for me that really no one else was able to do. What you did was you let the true spirit of Joshua shine through. By doing that, by the stories from everyone of how generous and how giving Joshua was, to his caseworker that was able to talk to me and say he wanted to get his on Social Security disability so he could take care of me, giving his food to people, giving his clothing to people, giving his blankets, his socks. Joshua truly, in the most sincere sense, put people above himself. When Joshua's mental illness wasn't at a peak, he was a bright and shining light in the battlefield of Portland. He was a soldier. He was a lover and a giver. And when you all told me these incredible stories of my son, suddenly the dark cloak of mental illness that enveloped him fell off. You people that he touched gave me back my son, with the genuine smile, the laughter, the heart. I lost my mom a few years back. Actually, it was in 2006, so it's been more than a few years. I still find it difficult to look at her pictures. But because of everything you've told me, and me knowing Joshua has been set free of everything that tormented him, every day since I found out about losing him has been a gift, because I've been able to look at his smiling pictures. Sarah, if you see this, thank you for sending me the link to his graduation photos. I just look at his smile and I see my son. People have reached out in such amazing ways. And it's really strange. I know my husband had said, you know, character is really going to shine through all of this. And oh my gosh, it has. People that we haven't spoken to for 30 years or more have called to tell us how sorry they are for our loss. You know that I'm honest and I'm upfront with you guys all the time. So I'm going to tell you the good and the bad. We also had a couple of people that were pretty unexpected say, well, are you going to inform so-and-so and so-and-so? Or we had the reverse of that. You're not going to inform so-and-so and so-and-so, are you? No. The answer is no, for several reasons. One, we don't have their phone number or their address. And two, if they really loved their brother and wanted to reach out and show that he meant something to them, they know where we live, they know our phone numbers, and they know how to get a hold of us. So that's really going to be left to them. And I think through that experience, whether or not they reach out will be very telling for us and everyone around them. Joshua had a hard time growing up. Yes, he was sweet and wonderful and loving and kind, but he was a handful. He was really abused by some of the kids here in horrible, horrible ways. And that's really hard for me to come to terms with. A lot of that's come out since his death. People are coming forward with things that had happened. And these are people that we know their character. We know that they're not projecting. We know that they're telling us, hey, you didn't know. Well, yeah, it would have been nice to know when he was little. But it really shined a light on everything more clearly than I think it ever could be. And for that, I'm really grateful because I don't really know how to say this. I'm grateful for that because it just answers a lot of questions. It puts a lot of rumors to rest. It stops a lot of untruths in their path. And for that, I'm so thankful. I spoke with a couple of my cousins this weekend. An experience, also pronounced experiencing the loss of our son. There have been peaks and there have been valleys. There have been times when I have cried uncontrollably, and there have been times when I've had to laugh at things, or when speaking with my cousins after I got off the phone, I felt very guilty that I was able to let go of the pain for a bit. Because in reality, we've been grieving the loss of Joshua for years. But I feel so guilty when I got off the phone with them because I enjoyed talking to them, and they took my mind off of the fact that I won't ever see Joshua walking this earth again. I cannot even begin to explain or thank you all for the kindness that you've shown. Joshua was special to me. I knew that because I live in my body. I know how special he was to me. I know the doctors he went to. I know all of the work I put into him. And for a long time, I didn't know why we couldn't get things to work out, why we had to go to more and more specialized therapists, why we had to look for any way to help our son. And this weekend, I realized Joshua's mission. I realized this from a question that one of my friends asked. They said something about they couldn't believe that Joshua was so talented and so wonderful and such a young man, and that God had taken him. Yes, I had asked God to take Joshua, but in reality, God spared Joshua what he was going through. Winter's coming up here again. He spared him another winter in Portland. Hunger, being misused, mistreated, all the things that we don't know about. But it also made me realize, while I may have seen a mentally ill son that I was desperately trying to help, maybe Joshua's mission was to be a soldier of light in the battlefield of the streets of Portland. The reason I say that is because of you, his friends. Some of the people that knew him best have been more affected by his loss than some of the people he grew up with have been. The fact that even in his situation, that Joshua was able to bring joy, laughter, protection to people in the same situation is such a gift. And I see my son in an entirely new light. And I have you, his friends, to thank for that. And as for my friends that have followed our journey with Joshua since, oh my gosh, MySpace, you remember those days? MySpace and blogging, and then onto Facebook and YouTube The people that I've known since Joshua was just a wee little kid, that I didn't realize how closely you were watching Joshua's story. You have really helped me get through this time of losing my son, and I really want to thank you for that. I'm going to keep you guys updated on what happens and everything that, there's going to be a lot of feeling and a lot of emotion. And I know, like I said before, people will say, what are you doing? Are you exploiting your son? No, I'm not. There are parents, there are mothers, there are sisters, there are brothers, there are everyone out there that is experiencing what we are. I want them to know they are not alone. And they made that so clear by reaching out to me and thanking me. One comment was, thank you for your raw emotion in telling us about Joshua. Another comment was about their sister. I heard about cousins, brothers, mothers, aunts, uncles, children. And you've all been inspired by Joshua. Joshua was an inspiration. He was talented. He was gifted. He was wonderful. I have made the arrangements with the funeral home. We have decided to have Joshua cremated and brought home, so I know where he is every minute of the day. It's been a long 10 years for Joshua and for me both, and for the family. And it's going to be a real relief knowing where he is all the time. Yesterday, I was walking around looking at things that had belonged to Joshua, just different little things that reminded me of Joshua. His name in the concrete, holes in sheetrock that now I'm thinking I don't want repaired. And I walked out in the backyard and I looked up at a birdhouse that he and his father made when Joshua was about 7 years old. It's up on my top deck, and I'm down below looking up at this birdhouse and remembering my son making this. And suddenly I could hear a hummingbird call. Don't ask me to reproduce it because I just can't do it, but I knew it was a hummingbird, so I get points for that. That hummingbird, which I haven't seen a hummingbird around here in years, landed at the top of a spruce tree above the birdhouse. And I ran to get my camera. I didn't have time to change the lens, and I didn't have time to run up 3 flights of stairs or 3 floors to the top deck to get a great picture, but I did capture a picture of it. Then I came inside and I looked at what a hummingbird symbolizes. Now, as a Christian, no, I don't get into a lot of the lore, the legend, any of that, but I know that God, in my belief, can bring comfort through things He has created. And when I read what the hummingbird symbolizes, it symbolizes if you've gone through a time of struggle, you're coming to the end of that struggle. It also symbolizes if there has been a death of someone you love, they're letting you know that they are okay, and that we, our family, will be able to heal. How cool is that? And you know what's really funny is when the hummingbird flew away, instinctively, I cried out, "Joshua, come back!" before I even looked up what the bird meant. At this moment, I feel peaceful. I feel calm. And I am so thankful that the cloak of mental illness no longer torments my son. He's flying free. He'll no longer be hungry, tormented, hurt. Hopefully he says hi to my mom and my dad and my grandson. I'm going to see my boy again. Thank you, everyone. Really, thank you. You have helped our family get through one of the most difficult things we have ever experienced, the loss of our son. I cannot thank you enough. I wish you a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Before I forget, we are going to have a celebration of life for Joshua. We're not really sure when. It may be on his birthday next June because of the weather and because of COVID. And there are a few things we're thinking about if I can get Portland to go along with us. But stay tuned because Joshua's story hasn't ended. In a way, I feel it's almost just beginning. Thank you again, everyone. I love you. And if you are in our situation, feel free to reach out. We know what you're going through. I'll see you guys later. Peace.